Good morning. This morning I would like to present on SMART goals and why they are extremely important at an IEP meeting. First, before we begin writing SMART goals, I think it's important to look at what the law, IDEA, says in regards to goals for an IEP. If you look at the number 2, it says a statement of measurable annual goals, including academic and functional goals, are designed to A, meet the child's needs that result from the child's disability, to enable the child to be involved in and make progress in the general education curriculum, and meet each of the child's other educational needs that result from the child's disability. For children with disabilities who take alternate assessments, aligned to alternate academic achievement standards, a description of benchmarks or short-term objectives. IDEA goes on to say that there must be a description of how the child's progress toward meeting the annual goals described in paragraph 2 of this section will be measured, and when periodic reports on the progress of the child is making towards meeting the annual goals, such as through the use of quarterly or other periodic reports concurrent with the insurance of report cards will be provided. One extremely important court case, Andrew F. versus Douglas County School District, made very clear that IEP goals must be appropriately ambitious in light of the student's circumstances. So, what are the implications of appropriately ambitious, and how does this align with the need for quality present levels, which in turn turn into writing our SMART IEP goals? So, what must goals have? Goals must align with the needs section of the present level of performance. Goals must address areas of deficits that help the students make progress towards general curriculum. Goals need monitoring using curriculum-based assessments and/or measurements. Goals must contain a statement regarding when progress on the IEP goals are reported to parents. You have to include measurable language like time frame, condition, behavior, and criteria. And if a student is on GAA, then objectives are required for those students. Best practice for goals. Consider data collection process. How are you going to collect the data? They must be written in objective terms, no judgments, avoid educational jargon, and avoid words such as demonstrate, extend, increase, identify, learn, recognize. You want to be very specific when writing goals. It's also important to look at the Georgia standards when creating your goals. One thing that can help teachers in writing goals is to think about SMART goals. SMART goals can help. They can help gain clarity and a sense of direction. They have a solid infrastructure for annual performance review. It helps with buy-in from leadership and increases the accountability and probability of achieving goals. So what are SMART goals? SMART goals are specific. They tell the who, what, when, where, and why. SMART goals are measurable. SMART goals are attainable. They're challenging, but the student can achieve them. SMART goals are relevant, and SMART goals are also time-bound. So think of the acronym SMART, S-M-A-R-T, specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, time-bound. Let's take a look at specific. A specific goal will usually answer the 5 W questions. What? Ask yourself, what do I want the student to accomplish? Why? Give specific reasons, purpose, or benefit of accomplishing the goal. Who? Who is involved? Where? Identify location. Which? Identify requirements and constraints. Be specific when writing an IEP goal. SMART IEPs have specific goals and objectives. Specific goals target areas of academic achievement and functional performance. They include clear descriptions of the knowledge and skills that will be taught and how the child's progress will be measured. If you look at the right-hand column, there are 2 choices. Ask yourself which one is more specific. A lot of times on an IEP, as department chair, I've seen goals written like the first one. Dylan will increase study skills for academic success. Ask yourself, is that a specific goal? Look at the second column. Dylan will demonstrate the following study skills: skimming written material and use reference materials in social studies class. When comparing the 2 statements in the previous slide, I'm sure that you can decide on the specific goal very easily. You can see that the second option was much more specific. Dylan will demonstrate the following study skills, and the skills were named. The second part of a SMART goal is to make sure that your goal is measurable. A measurable goal will usually answer questions such as, how much? How many? How will I know when it is accomplished? The indicators should be quantifiable. Let's look at an example of a measurable goal. SMART IEPs have measurable goals and objectives. Measurable means you can count or observe it. Measurable goals allows parents and teachers to know how much progress the child has made since the performance was last measured. With measurable goals, you will know when the child reaches the goal. So, which of these 2 goals are measurable and observable? Owen will improve his reading skills. Given 2nd grade material, Owen will read a passage of text orally at 110 to 130 words per minute with random errors. It was easy to see that the second goal was measurable. Given 2nd grade material, Owen will read a passage of text orally at 110 to 130 words per minute with random errors. This is measurable. The A in SMART goals stands for attainable or action words. An achievable goal will usually answer the question, how is it attainable? How can the goal be accomplished? How realistic is the goal based on other constraints? IEP goals include 3 components that must be stated in measurable terms. They have to be attainable. The direction of behavior, increase, decrease, or did it maintain? Number 2, the area of need. Is it in reading, writing, social skills, transition, communication, etc.? And 3, the level of attainment. Is it going to be to age level, without assistance? You see, SMART IEPs use action words like the child will be able to, and then of course you would put what they're able to do. Let's look at some examples. So here's some examples of attainable action words. Which of these goals is specific, measurable, and includes action words? Betsy will decrease her anger in violation of school rules. Provided with anger management training and adult support, Betsy will be able to remove herself from environments that cause her to lose control of her behavior so that she has no disciplinary referrals. Hopefully it's clear to pick the goal that's attainable and includes action words. In this example, you can see that it is much more specific. It's an attainable goal. She is trying to receive no disciplinary notices, and it gives some action words to tell how she is able to remove herself. She is provided with anger management training. The R in SMART goals stands for relevant. A relevant goal can answer yes to these questions. Does this seem worthwhile? Is this the right time to teach the skill? Does this match our other efforts or our needs? Are you the right person to teach this skill? Is it applicable in the current socioeconomic environment? So just some questions to ask. Is the goal relevant? SMART IEPs have realistic, relevant goals and objectives that address the child's unique needs that result from the disability. SMART IEP goals are not based on district curricula, state or district tests, or other external standards. Let's look at 2 choice goals. Which of these goals is specific, measurable, and realistic? Kelsey will demonstrate improved writing skills. Kelsey will improve her writing and spelling skills so she can write a clear, cohesive, and readable paragraph consisting of at least 3 sentences, including compound and complex sentences that are clearly related. sure that it was easy for you to choose the correct answer because it is realistic. It is relevant to what Kelsey needs to do at this time in her educational career. It's extremely important to think of the relevance of goals when writing goals. Oftentimes in education, we get busy. We have a lot to do. We have a lot on our plate. Teaching, writing IEPs, holding meetings. I completely understand. And so oftentimes what I've seen is that teachers go back to the first goal. Kelsey will improve her writing because it's easy. But looking at law cases over the summer, I've realized even more the importance of writing clear, attainable, SMART goals for our students. Not only is it going to keep us out of the courtroom, but if we truly are going to help our students, then we must write SMART goals. And everyone on the team needs to buy into those SMART goals and have input in the SMART goals. The last element of a SMART goal is that it needs to be time-bound. A time-bound goal will usually answer the question, when? Is that it needs to be time-bound. What can I do 6 months from now? A time-bound goal will usually What can I do 6 weeks from now? What can I do today? What can I do 6 months from now? What can I do 6 weeks from now? What can I do today? SMART IEP goals and objectives are time limited or time bound. What does the child need to know and be able to do after 1 year of special education? What is the starting point for each of the child's needs, present levels of academic achievement, and functional performance? Time limited or time bound goals and objectives enable you to monitor progress at regular intervals. And this is extremely important. Progress monitoring is probably one of the most important parts of our job as a special educator. How can you show growth without progress monitoring? So let's look at an example of a time-bound element of a SMART goal. Assume your child is in the 5th grade. Steph's reading levels or skills are at the early 3rd grade level. Here's a specific, measurable, time-limited goal that tells you what Steph can do now and what she will be able to do after a year of special education services. So our present level of performance. Given 3rd grade material, Steph reads 50 to 70 words per minute with 4 to 6 errors. The annual goal would be, given 5th grade material, Steph will read 120 words per minute with only random errors. So to ensure that Steph meets her goal, we'll measure her progress at 9-week intervals 4 times during the school year. After 9 weeks, given 3rd grade material, Steph will read 110 to 120 words per minute with 1 to 3 errors. After 18 weeks, given fourth grade material, staff will read 70 to 100 words per minute with 1 to 3 errors. And then you can see after 27 weeks, Steph is given fifth grade material and she'll read 70 to 100 words per minute with 1 to 3 errors. And hopefully by the end of the year, Steph will read 120 words per minute with only random errors. And of course, we're trying to meet the goal of getting Steph up to fifth grade standards. So now that we've looked at all the elements of a SMART goal, it's important to ask yourself, and I'll have to ask myself a lot when I'm writing a goal, is my goal a SMART goal? And it's just easy to think about a SMART goal going through. Is it specific? Is it measurable? Is it achievable? Is it realistic? And do I have a time frame for meeting that goal? And so I think it's important now just to give a few examples maybe of what a complete SMART goal might look like. So let's look at some sample SMART goals. We're going to assume the time frame is 1 year, and here are some sample goals. The first one, given fourth grade level text, M will respond accurately to the following questions: who, what, when, where, and why, 95% of the time for 3 out of 5 trials. So let's go back. Is it specific? Yes. It tells the grade level. It tells exactly what. Is it measurable? Yes, 95% of the time, 3 out of 5 trials. Is it achievable based on the present level of the student we're talking about? Yes. Is it relevant? Yes, the student is a fourth grade student. The student needs to know the who, what, where, when, why, because it's a part of the state standards. And is there a time frame? Well, given fourth grade level text, yes, it also And looking at the second example, given mixed multiplication fluency probes for multiplication tables 3, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9, 11, and 12, S will complete, and of course you would want to put in an attainable number of problems at a rate of blank problems per minute for 3 out of 5 trials by May of 2020. And again, I would go back to my SMART goal chart and ask myself the questions: is it a SMART goal? Is it specific? Is it measurable? Is it achievable? Is it relevant? And do I do it in a timely manner? Do I have time bound set as a goal? I hope this information has been valuable in teaching you about SMART goals. What are they? Why use them? How do you write them? Goals state a desired future achievement. SMART goals assist in getting focused. SMART goals help define exactly what the future state looks like and how it will be measured. SMART goals show others how their work aligns and relates to the focus of the school. So remember, what are SMART goals? S, specific. M, measurable. A, attainable. R, results-oriented or relevant, and T, time-bound. A specific goal has a much greater chance of being accomplished than a general goal. To set a specific goal, answer the W questions. Who is involved? What do I want to accomplish? Where will the action take place? When will the goal be achieved? And why is this goal important? It's also important to establish concrete criteria for measuring the M part of the SMART goal, progress toward the attainment of each goal. To determine if your goal is measurable, ask questions such as how many, how much, to what degree. How will I know when it is accomplished? Also, make sure the goal is attainable. Identify the most important goals, then determine how to attain them. Work to develop attitudes, abilities, skills, and financial capacity to reach them. Make sure the goal is R, results-oriented or relevant, a goal that represents a worthwhile objective for the student. Goals should be important to the work and focus on results. Any effective goal must have a target date. A deadline set too far in the future invites procrastination. A short-term goal could be unrealistic and discouraging. So long-term goals are different from SMART goals. Long-term goals describe the future aspirations, such as getting a job or earning a master's degree. Without short-term goals for defining the steps to large-scale achievements, long-term goals are too easily dropped. So, writing SMART goals are not all that hard if you follow the steps. SMART. I hope that this presentation has shed some light on SMART goals, some examples, how to write SMART goals, why they're important. If you need more information, there's much information on the web that you can find in regards to writing SMART goals. I want to thank you for pushing me to do this presentation. I've really struggled and had a hard time with recording it, getting everything laid out. This was definitely out of my comfort zone. I know that I still have a lot of work to do. I did spend a lot of time on it, but I really do want to continue to revise this to make it better, to really make it a training program that maybe I could use with some of my special education teachers. We currently have a lot of our staff who are not special education teachers by trade. They've come out of the regular education environment, and I can't imagine being in their shoes. And so it is important to give them knowledge so that they're able to write goals that will benefit the students at our school. So I think SMART goals definitely make it more concrete and can help any staff member. So again, thanks for making me do this project. I'm going to continue to work to make it better.